I said, hold on, partner. I need to listen real quick. I think bitches is talking about me. Am I wrong to go outside and beat their ass? He was like, oh, what? Oh, well, I don't think you should do that. I said, click.
Call me to your crib and I'm sliding. First things first, let me get that introduction. We on the long road to self-destruction. You so in love, you ain't gon' tell me nothing.
I'm back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Let's get to it, okay? Alright, so if you don't remember, or if you just don't want to watch part one or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna just catch y'all up to speed because I know it's been some time, okay? Basically, in part one, I was trying to go to school in Atlanta. I didn't have a place to stay. My friend let me stay with her. She wanted me to move in with her grandma. I didn't want to do that. She kicks me out. I end up meeting these girls from my mom finds an ad on Craigslist, and first house meeting, they said they were in a cult, whatever the case may be. Felt like a little bit of like, well, they were hating on me. It didn't feel like it was true. So go ahead and watch part one. Okay, and I know that the audio was bad, it's low. I'm sorry about that. So this time I got my phone and my little microphone, but this time I got my other phone. So I'm just basically gonna tell part two, okay? Like I said, go ahead and watch part one or whatever. And without further ado, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, I did too much. Okay, so anyway, I don't know if I inserted the clip, but I am a little schmizzed because this is a very traumatic story. I almost beat one of these hoes' ass. So, all right. Just to continue off of part one, right? I was in the kitchen. Right. I was in the kitchen. So like I said, in the end of part one, at this point I'm in the kitchen with Ruby, and she's basically telling me about her fiance and how they met in the cult. She's telling me more about the cult, how it was like a rule of thumb, they had to get married to somebody in the cult, and they had to wait until marriage to, do the deed. I'm not about to hold my neck for you, like, what? Like, I'm about to get my shits. Okay. Let me talk, because I'm getting a little explicit, and I don't want my mama to see this. But basically, I had like a little boo back then, so I was definitely not waiting until marriage, if you catch the drift. I was basically explaining to her, how I resolve my issues, and we were just talking back and forth. I was telling her about, what happens when me and my friends get into it, and I was just explaining to her, like, how I feel. And she was like, wow, like, I can't believe, like, you're so intelligent, like, you're so smart, like, I never thought of that. Like, she was just basically piping my head up. And basically, I'm thinking to myself, like, we're really having a moment. Like, this bitch has a heart.
That is not correct.
So we're just talking back and forth, whatever the case may be. And I ended up leaving, and that was that. So I think I left the kitchen because my plug came and I wanted to like get some stuff, right? So I was like, okay, girl, I gotta go, deuces. So I go outside and basically leave her in the kitchen, and I was just like, yeah, back then I already ate my tacos. Like, I was full, ready to, you know what I'm saying? I got one more situation to tell y'all about, and then we're gonna get to like the final act. So this one is just, okay. So like I said, I had somebody I was dating at the time, and he used to always want to wash his clothes because we had a washer and dryer. He didn't have to go to the laundromat. So I used to tell him, like, of course you can come over, stay the night with me, do your laundry, cool, whatever. So there's one day he texts me in the morning. He's like, oh, I want to come over and do laundry. But when I went out and to look to see if somebody had clothes in there, somebody actually did this time, and it was Ruby. She had her clothes in a washing machine. So I'm just like, okay, Mind you, she had been doing all this static, being weird and doing all this extra stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I see that her clothes are in there, and I text him, and I'm like, hey, you know, I got a problem with my roommates. She got some in the washing machine. Can we just like go out and then come back later this night and see if she came home from work and took her clothes out? And in the interim, I text the group chat, and I'm like, hey, can somebody please like get there? Because it was there. She didn't have clothes in the washing machine, actually. I'm sorry. She had it in the dryer. That's very important. So I was like, hey, can somebody get their clothes out the dryer? Because I don't really want to wash clothes tonight. I didn't really get a message. It was morning time. They were up because I could hear them, obviously. But maybe like I'm sitting in class around 12 o'clock. I get a text back from Ruby. And she was just like, I'm getting off of work around 7. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So me and him, after class, we go out, I think. We have a good time, whatever. We came home, and her clothes was still in there. Mind you, it was like 9 o'clock. So he's just like, listen, I can't wait any longer, because he is very impatient. So he's like, I can't wait any longer. I need to wash my clothes tonight. So we about to fold her clothes and put it neat. I know you got a problem with your roommate, but if we just fold them up real neatly, maybe she'll appreciate that. So I'm like, you going to fold her clothes up. I'm not touching that shit, because this bitch is deranged. So he's like, oh, fine. So he basically folds up all her clothes or whatever neatly and puts them on top of the dryer, right? Y'all, please tell me why. He washes his clothes. He dries his clothes. His clothes are now in the dryer. It's right, maybe like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. He's in the bed with me, sleep. I am about to go to sleep. I'm like drifting off. Then I hear the front door open, and it is Ruby. Ruby comes home. She comes home. She sees that her clothes are on top of the dryer, and she has a fit. I'm talking about a whole tantrum. She starts stomping over the house because she knows it's just me and her, and she knows that Max isn't home because the house was dark and quiet. So it was like nobody's here, but probably me. So she's basically stomping over the house. She starts opening up all the cabinet. She's like opening all the doors. She's doing this, she's doing that. She's stopping, and I hear her say, stupid, so stupid. Like she's just going crazy. So all I can hear is her in the hallway stomping around, opening all the doors, turning on the lights in the house, and basically saying that I'm stupid, I'm stupid, I'm stupid. So tell me why. I'm sitting there and I'm thinking like, please don't make me go off on you, because my man is here and I don't want to seem unladylike. Excuse the fuck out of me! But you are doing the most. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, God, this is the worst time for her to be acting like this. So I'm pretending to be asleep, and he wakes up and he does not play that shit. So he goes outside, and he's like, he goes outside the room, the bedroom. He opens the door. He don't got a shirt on. He just got like he wakes up in the bed. He puts on his pants, but he don't got no top. He goes outside, and he's just like, what? Like, what's going on? Like, what's up? And she's like, oh. She sees him. She goes, oh.
I'm done. Guys, that's thing. I'm done. Wow.
Miss Mamas, not you trying to flirt with my man? Aren't you getting married? So she like, oh. She sees him, and he's like, yeah, like, what's up? Like, he looking at her like, bitch, are you dumb? So he's looking at her, he like, what's wrong with you? And she like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, like, is Alana home? And she's like, first of all, bitch, you know I'm home. Why the fuck would he be here if I wasn't home? So, and then you know I'm home because when he left out of my room, he left the door cracked open a little bit so she could see like my body like in the sheets. So I hear her, and then she's trying to peek in my room again. She's trying to peek. So she's like, oh, is Alana home? And he steps in front of her. He like, she didn't got nothing to do with this. So he steps in front of her, and he like, I did it. I folded your clothes. So what's wrong? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did she talking about, I'm Gabby. What's your name? Oh, I said her real name. She's talking about, I'm Ruby. What's your name? And he like, I'm so-and-so. So she talking to him, and he annoyed with her, so he just like, okay, like, and it was just like, I don't know why you trying to be smart and flirt with him to make me mad, but it's like, you're not about to piss me, like, I feel like that's really what she was trying to do. Like, I feel like she was trying to like make me mad, but it's like, you're not looking at you, you're not even his type, number one. Like, it's just like, what the hell.
You know, you really jumped out the window when you compared yourself to me.
So, anyway, he shuts the hell up. He shuts that shit down. He comes back and he basically shuts that down. He comes to the room. The door's still open. He gonna kiss me and ask me. He was like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, and in my head, I was like, "Hell yeah, I'm okay." Like, cause one thing, she really was dumb as fuck. And the next day, my auntie came in town and took me to a buffet, and we was eating some soul food. And we was tearing that up, and I was telling her, and she gave me some money for all my hardships. So it was like, girl, like, you're really extra as fuck, and you're dumb. Like, I know you probably I know she probably felt dumb. I know she did, because it's like, girl, like, what are you doing? First of all, you come home mad because somebody folded your clothes neatly. What are you even mad about? At this point, you're just mad because it's me. So at this point, now we're going to get into the pot incident, okay? Around this time, like I said, I told you I was insecure about my weight, right? So I was trying to gain weight. I was taking a Ckemuse. I was taking the liquid form of a Ckemuse. I used to do a lot to get that Ckemuse. I used to travel on a bus, like hours from where I lived at the time, to go to some random market, like far into like Atlanta, and just like buy. It was like literally a 2-hour bus ride. Like, no, it was probably like an hour. It was probably like a 15-minute or so bus ride from where I lived at the time. And I lived in a hood back then. I mean, I still kind of do, I guess, but it's not really hood here. Anyway, child. So I'm basically eating pasta. I'm eating mashed potatoes. I'm eating burgers, turkey burgers. I'm just trying to like get my weight up, right? And it was working. So I'm basically just taking. I don't recommend anybody take a Ckemuse. I feel like there's more natural ways. And anyway, child. So basically, yeah, I'm saying this to say that we about to get into the pot incident, okay? The pot incident. So, oh my God. So, like I said, at this time, I was trying to gain weight. I was on a Ckemuse, whatever the case may be. And one of the good things about Max was she let me use her pots and pans, right? Now, mind you, I didn't, cause like I said, when I moved in, I didn't have any furniture. So she was like, "Oh yeah, of course you can use my pots and pans or whatever." And she kind of kept that up the whole time we lived together. But at this particular time, I was only using like a small pot because I'm just cooking for me. And back then I really wasn't like I eat in phases. So I was in my pasta phase. So like I was making pasta like all the time. So I was only going to use like a small pot because it's just me. Like, I don't really need a big pot, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, I'm doing my thing, whatever. Like I said, I was only using the small pot, right? Now, mind you, because they was already so bitchy. Well, okay, let me not say that. Because they was already so, like, wishy-washy with what I could do and what I couldn't do. They would just be stush with me. And because of that, because when Max told me I could use her pots, I'm gonna wash it out immediately. First of all, the kitchen is too small to even be having pots stacked up. Like, I mean, it wasn't that small, but it was just like, we're not about to just have stuff all over the place. They like to keep things really neat and proper and prim and da-da-da-da-da. So that's what we're gonna do. So of course, I'm like washing it out every night. Now, if I was by myself, I probably would let it soak overnight or whatever, because that's what I do now that I'm older and I have a different living situation. But back then, it was like, I'm gonna watch this. You're not even about to talk to. I don't even want you to zip it. Shut up. Don't say nothing to me because I don't want to hang your mouth. So of course I was just watching her pot out, and even now, like, I still don't even keep my dishes there for too long. I come home one day and I'm like ready to cook. I come home one day and I'm ready to cook. And I see that somebody already had used a small pot. Like, you know how people be putting food in there and they put the lid on top? It was already like on the stove with food in it. I'm like, dang, like somebody used the pot that's my go-to pot or whatever. So cool, whatever. I see the big pot. Now this pot is like this big. I don't really need a pot this big, so I'm definitely about to use it real quick. Bada boom, bada bang. So I pick it up or whatever. I'm like, cool, whatever. I just boil noodles. Mind you, I said I make pasta. Now let's break down. Let's do a breakdown. Let's do a scientific breakdown, okay, of what it takes to make some pasta. This is what you're gonna do, right? Step one, you're gonna take a bowl. Well, you're gonna take a pot. You're gonna put some water in that motherfucker. You're gonna put some noodles in there. If you want to feel fancy, maybe a drop of some olive oil, maybe a little butter if you're trying to make your noodles real soft, real succulent. But yeah, that's what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna put the noodles in there, and you're gonna put the water, you're gonna boil it, whatever the case may be. What's the next step? So then you drain the water, and then you take the pasta, and then you put it in like the little, you know what I'm talking about, the little salad bowls. I don't know what it's really called, but you know what I'm talking about. So then after that, what you gonna do after that? You're gonna take some Alfredo sauce. You're either gonna make it from scratch, which is whipping cream, whatever the case may be. Look it up. I'm about to tell y'all. But you could either make your own Alfredo sauce or you can buy the Alfredo sauce. So back then I wasn't really on like my super chef shit. So I was buying Alfredo, whatever the case may be. It's cool, whatever. Add some seasoning. It's cool. So after you put it in, you know, the drain, I don't know, the thing that drains the water from the noodles, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying about. And then after that, you put the Alfredo, you boil some Alfredo or whatever. Either you make it from scratch with the whipping cream and all that, or you buy your own and add some little pizzazz into it. With some little seasoning, you know what I'm saying? So I end up washing out the pot, like I said, and now I got a big Tupperware full of my Alfredo, and I'm about to chow down, okay? I'm about to eat that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, cool. Whatever the case may be. Tell me why, in the middle of me, like, boiling the noodles, Max comes home, sees me. She don't say nothing to me. She just peeked me. I could see, she always got a problem, so it was just like, girl. So she peeped me or whatever. She go into her room or whatever the case may be. So after that, I wash the pot out. Cool. I go about my business. Mind you, I said I used a big pot, right? And all I put in it was some noodles. What's going to happen after you take the noodles out the pot? It's going to be clear, right? Because it was just boiling water. If you were to leave the Alfredo out, then the bottom of the pot would be like a white creamy color. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying? Okay, bear with me. So cool. Whatever. Next day, I guess somebody used the pot and they don't wash it. I don't know who. It could have been Max, could have been Ruby. I just know it was me. And I think y'all know where I'm going with this. So cool. Couple of days go by, and no, there's still a pot in the sink. So Max texts the group chat, and she's like, so I wake up one morning, I look at my phone, and she's like, hey, I just want to say, like, can somebody please, whoever used the pot, like, no smoke or whatever, but she didn't say that. Let me say what she said word for word. She was like, hey, y'all, whoever used the pot, like, whatever, can you please wash it out because I really want to cook something in it. So I see this message and I'm just like, okay, like I just woke up. I'm like, I'm about to go smoke a little bit, come back inside, cause I didn't use that damn pot. Like, child, I already washed my pot. I'm a big G. I'm a big adult over here. I washed my pot. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I go to school or whatever. I come back after, and I go to school, and on my way to class, I open up. I want to see like what is in here, like, cause what? I'm trying to make sure it wasn't me. Like maybe I was tripping. So I open up the lid and I see like green shit. Like I see like spinach. Like it was like some type of vegetable. Like, right. Mind you, it's been sitting there for like maybe a day. So I'm like, okay, like wasn't me. So I go about my business. Boom, 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 boom. So then, boom. Next day rolls around. She texts again. She's like, hey, like what's up with that pot? Like So I'm just like looking at this and I'm like, I don't know if it's some type of sick joke or something, but I don't know what the lady going on. I feel like she's trying to say it was me, because if she thought that it was like Mac, or if she thought that it was Ruby, then she would have talked to her, because that's her homegirl. Like they weirdos together. Like, so I'm like, okay, like, you know, I'm just thinking like, is this a joke? So I text back and I'm like, okay, like, hey, you know, I didn't use the pot, so I don't know what's going on, but you know, hope you figure it out. God bless you. Like, hope you figure it out. So cool, whatever. So tell me why, child. Tell me why, child. I come home one day, minding my sweet business. I want to say maybe it's day 2. I want to say maybe it's day 3 or day 4. I don't know. I just knew that some time had passed. Mind you, after I sent I didn't use the pot or whatever, nobody responded. Max didn't respond. Ruby didn't respond. So I'm like, okay. So I come home one day. I'm minding my business. Ain't nobody home. It's just me. I'm like, ooh, so nice to be home. So I'm like, cool. I'm gonna just relax. I got the apartment to myself. Like, I got this living room to myself. I can take some selfies. Maybe I can cook. Or maybe I can go in my room. Like, it's just so many options. So I'm like, wow. Because when they was home, I used to try to stay out their way because they used to really irk the fuck out of me. Also, I was like I said, I didn't really have a super big backbone back then. So like, I was just trying to like, bitch, don't talk to me. Like, I don't even want to see you bitches. And when you see me, I'm gonna be looking good, period. So cool, whatever the case may be. So I'm come home and I'm chilling, big chilling. Now I'm in my room and I'm on the phone. I remember this because my homeboy Daniel. So I'm on the phone with Daniel, right? I call him. I'm like, we just talking, whatever, talking about life, whatever. So tell me why Max come home and she go into the kitchen and she start cooking. Max come home, she cooking. Ruby comes home, like, I want to say like 15, 30 minutes later. And the way the apartment was set up, when you come to the front door, you automatically can go to the left and go and be in the kitchen, or you can step to the right and be in the living room. Like, it was like a hallway and you're all the way back, but to the left, kitchen right there, boom in your face, boom. Then over there, boom, you got the living room. So she come home, she see Max, they start chopping it up. Oh, hey girl, whatever the fuck lame bitches talk about. Like, what? So they just talking whatever lame people talk about, and all of a sudden, mind you, like I said, I'm getting mad just thinking about it. So, like I said, the walls are thin, and this is not the first time I have heard them say anything about me. Also, they know that I can hear them because, I gotta tell y'all a little mini story. Damn. Okay, put a pin in this story. I'm sorry to do this. I'm sorry. I might edit it. I don't know. Maybe I will. But I just also wanted to point out that there was this one incident shortly before this one where Max had a friend who wanted her to take care of her dog overnight. Mind you, remember Max was like, you can't smoke because it's not in the policy. Like, and if you do it, I can call the cop. But she does say that to me. I'm not gonna lie. So she's doing all this rah-rah about the policy. It's no dogs in the fine print, honey. So she trying to take care of this dog overnight or whatever. And I'm just minding my business because when this is going on, it's like morning time. It's like maybe 10, 11. And I'm getting up. I'm getting ready to go take care of the day. And I hear like like, like little paws on the ground. Like, I hear little pants, some little dogs, and I can hear it. Like, it's a big dog. Like, you can hear the collar rattling, and you can hear the person talking to Max about the dog. Like, oh, whatever, she's a good dog. So, cool. They decide to go out to brunch or whatever. I guess they good girlfriends. They go way back, so they go to brunch, and they leave the dog there. Now, I don't think anything of it because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to class. When I come back from class, the dog ain't gonna be here, or maybe it is, but maybe they will be there to take care of the dog. Like, when I come back from class, they probably will be back by then. So I come home and okay, let me paint the picture. So I come home and I go in my room as per usual, pick up, I used to have a bong. I don't have a bong anymore, but I used to have a bong, and I pick up my bong, I go outside, I'm trying to get lit, listen to some music, listen to my tunes, and just mind my business, have a good time, right? So I go and I come back inside the house. No, I come back inside the apartment and it's dark. Nobody's home. Like, Max isn't home. Ruby isn't home. So I'm just like, okay, like, I got the house to myself. I got the apartment to myself. It's a good night. So I don't think to turn the lights on because it's daylight savings at the time. So it's like, we don't really need it. Like, it's the time where it gets dark, kind of earlier. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I go to my room. So I'm in my room, zooted up, you know what I'm saying? and I hear the dog. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Because it's like crying and shit. It's like whimpering. It was like unsettling because the walls are thin and I can hear. It's like, this is my room and Max's room is right there. So it was kind of like I could hear the dog. So I'm just thinking to myself like, what? Because the dog was crying and I'm high and it's dark, so I don't even know where it's coming. Like, I don't even know. I didn't even really see the dog come in. So I'm just like, where is this dog coming from? I can just hear a dog crying. So I'm a little annoyed, but it's just like, okay. And they definitely left their dog there overnight. Like, it was just me there that night. And I kept staying up thinking that somebody was going to come home and take care of it, and nobody ever came home. So the next day or whatever, hold on. Make sure y'all go check out my TikTok, because every time I get interrupted, I just be making TikToks. So the next day or whatever, she basically texted me and she was like, oh, I just don't appreciate how she was just bitching about something in the bathroom again. And she was just basically like, oh, I woke up to a long text the next morning, her basically saying like, Max doesn't like Max. It was from Max, and Max is basically saying, I don't like when you do this, I don't like when you do that, whatever. I feel like you need to, when you clean the bathroom, you don't be cleaning behind the toilet. When you do this, you don't be doing that. You be leaving weave and whatever. So I text back. So I wake up the next morning. Mind you, I didn't get no sleep because of the dog. They ended up coming home at like 5 a.m. And I'm just like, so I wake up and I read the text, and that was the day they really caught the wrong one, the right one actually, because I was the right one to tell their ass off. So I wake up to the message and I'm like, you know what the fuck I don't like?
Oh Lord.
This is literally this what I said, you know what I don't like? I'm like, I don't appreciate how you left that dog here overnight. I also don't appreciate how I can hear y'all talking shit about me. The other day I heard y'all call me, a couple months ago I heard y'all call me retarded. I don't like that. I also don't like how y'all be leaving, because it was natural. They used to leave clumps of natural curly hair in the drain and not even just in the drain. They will also leave it on the bathtub floor. Bruh, I know you're not talking about the shit I don't fucking do. Because if I tell you shit that you don't do, exactly, shut your ass up. So I was just like, girl, like, she sent me a long message. I sent her a long message back. I said, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. Also, you talking about smoking and the fucking lease and shit, and you asked me for some weed the other day. Then on top of that, you want to talk about what's not in the lease? That dog ain't in the lease. And why would you leave him here overnight? Like, that was just dumb, because you didn't leave the light on, so the dog is in the dark for hours. Think. He didn't go outside once. Think. Like, pissing me off. So, cool, whatever. After I sent that message, it was like a 30-minute interval. It was like do like cue the Jeopardy music, because my mom sent me an audio message. Okay, I see you, mama. So after it was like a 30-minute interval or whatever, then I get a message back from Max, and she basically like, mind you, Ruby was home. She's reading all of this. I can hear them texting back and forth, because I can hear the ding, 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 dings from both rooms. But like, she wasn't responding in the group message. So I finally get a message from Max. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. You're right. We do need to work on that. We can just compromise and just like settle our differences. And I'm like, yeah, because not you woke up with violence. Like, you trying to check me, and I just fucking got crust out of my eye. Bitch, shut the hell up. Because if I anyway. So boom, I brought that up to say, going back to the pot incident. I'm sorry, the story's all over the place. But going back to the pot incident, right? They know that I can hear them, because I had just went off on them on the text, telling them that I heard them call me retarded. See, they didn't know that I heard that. And that's another thing. Like, they used to be in my face trying to smile and act like, you know, they used to be asking me weird questions. And then when I would answer, they would just be like, like, oh, okay, and just make faces. And it's like, y'all don't, yeah, and I'm playing dumb with it. But at one point it was just like, no, I'm not gonna play dumb with y'all. Like, y'all pissing me off. So cool, whatever the case may be. So back to the pot incident, right? I'm in my room and I'm on the phone, and I hear that Max came home, and I hear that Ruby came home, and they're in the kitchen. But I'm on the phone. But also, I have like anxiety now because it's like every time they talking together, I feel like it's about me almost. But like I'm trying not to be paranoid, but it's like how can I not? Like this is not a healthy living situation. Like every time I come home, I don't even use the common area. I avoid my roommates. I don't want to talk to them. I only want to smoke weed and come back in my room and listen to music. Like that's not a healthy lifestyle. Like I want to go out and do stuff too. And I have more story times coming about like just my time living there, like what's going on with my life. But right now we're just focusing on them. So cool. I'm like, this is too much. So I can hear them because I slightly hear them bring up my name. I hear Alana. So now it's like bitch, my fucking senses. Now my senses are all over the place because it's just like, what you mean Alana? And why are you saying it like that? Like, don't piss me off. So, oh, this is way better. I was trying to go for the messy, wispy look, but I like this look a little bit better. Okay. So, I'm just like, I can hear them call my name. So I'm like, what is they talking about? So now, my friend is talking on the phone. I say, hold on, partner. I need to listen real quick. I think bitches is talking about me.
I'll hear you, sweetie.
So I'm like, Daniel. He like, huh? I'm like, I think my roommate's talking about me. Am I wrong to go outside and beat their ass? He was like, oh, what? Oh, well, I don't think you should do that. I said, Daniel, click. I had to hang up because now it's like, ooh. Well, I didn't hang up yet. Let me tell y'all. So he like, well, I don't think you should do that. So I'm like, I basically I'm tuning him out because my anger has taken over. So now I'm listening at the door and I can hear them chatty little Chelseas. I can hear them talking about me. Basically, Max is like, Alana. That's what I hear. So now I'm listening. And then I hear, yeah, this is Max. Alana, and if you can hear me, you really need to clean that pot out. And then here's Ruby on the other side. Yeah, Alana, if you can hear us, you need to clean that pot. So they sitting here kikiing back and forth like little bitchy bitches. And I'm just thinking to myself like,
What the fuck is so goddamn funny?
Anger. Like, I'm not thinking anything, actually. I just got anger. So, because it's just like, why do you keep playing with me? Like, at this point, I'm tired. So, I hang up the phone, open up my door. My door swings open. And I immediately stop out of my room. I leave my room, and I see Ruby in the hallway. Because, like, where she would, like, the kitchen was, like, here. And she was, like, half in the kitchen, half out. So she's basically, I can see half of her body like this. Like, she's turning this way. And when she sees me walk out my room, I see her turn towards me. And I don't really see anything else because Max, she's deep in the kitchen, like, cooking and stuff. So I stomp, and I'm like, I'm about to stomp. So this is all they see. The door swings open, and as I'm walking up to them, Ruby sees me, and she starts getting bucked too. She talking about, like, she looked kind of startled, but then she also kind of looked like she was waiting to tell me something. So I stomp out there, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what's in the pot? They like, what? This movie, huh? What? But she kind of had an attitude, so she like, what? I'm like, what's in the pot? If you open up the lid, you can see what type of food is in the pot. Then you can see who cooked it. All you gotta do is say, who cooked this green shit? And then you got your answer. So they like, Ruby started bickering back and forth with me. She started saying stuff to me. I was saying to her, she like, it wasn't me because I was in the hospital. She like, I don't know, but it wasn't me because I was in the hospital. So I'm like, bitch, no, the fuck you wasn't. I'm just basically arguing with her because I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, you talking about, oh, I was in the hospital. Like, I'm supposed to be like, oh, what's wrong? Like, no, she was, because even though that might have been true, she had came home like day 2. So it's like, girl, like, it could have been you. Like, don't start. You could have did that real quick and dipped out. We don't know what you do. So we just arguing. We start exchanging words back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm saying this. I don't even know what we were saying. So I'm going back and forth with her, and Max is in the kitchen, and she's like watching this, but she got like a little smile up. She like she's just, it's like a ping pong match. She like, but then she starts. She's like, she's a little entertained. Like, you're sick. So she's like, wait. So now she want to speak up. Max like, wait, what happened? Like, she leaning against the kitchen drawer. She like this, but with spatula in her hand. She like, what happened? And I'm like, no, because this bitch is fake as fuck. I start, and now I'm talking to Max. I'm like, no, because she's really weird. Like, she's a weirdo. She's fake as fuck. And this Ruby trying to cut me off. How am I fake? I'm like, no, she's fake because she was really open up to me, trying to give me all these gifts, telling me about this, telling me about that. She's giving me free items. She's asking me if I can go to the mall with her. She's telling me about her fiance. She's telling me about her life. She's and then she also turned around when she with you. She want to talk all this mess and act crazy. So Max is like, so what you're saying is keep that same energy. And I'm like, bitch, shut the hell up. Because like, now it's just like, you trying to play Dr. Phil. You the reason why we arguing in the first place. And Max is like, oh, I understand. Like, man, you're basically saying keep that same energy. And I don't even know what Ruby was saying. Ruby started saying something stupid. And we just going back and forth. So finally, Max is like, oh, and blah, blah, blah. What is your problem? And so I'm not going to lie, y'all. I was so mad that I started to cry. I don't know. I feel like I hate that I get like that. Because like, when I get super passionate, a tear may fall out, and now you're thinking I'm crazy, but really, it's just like it's a lot to take in. Like, I don't even know why you're making me be mean to you. Like, I don't like that. So I'm basically just doing my thing or whatever, and saying to them like, so then I start crying, and I'm like, no, because when I first moved in here, you made a comment about my weight, and that really did not sit well with me. I'm basically telling them everything that they did from day one. I'm like, because you was talking shit about me and my weight. You was making comments. I feel like as soon as I moved in here, you was hating. Then on top of that, you want to ask me all these questions. You want to call me retarded and shit. Like, what the fuck? Then on top of that, Ruby over here being weird, and y'all just weird hoes in general. So, dang, little tummy, I'm gonna feed you. Dang, I'm hungry. So I thought I was gonna do 2 videos in one day, but I might give y'all a video tomorrow. I don't know. I really need to go to work. I should pick up a shift. Anyway, let me finish the story. We almost done. So I'm like, bruh, like, so we just going back and forth. And this Max, oh, I didn't know. I thought that because you were thin, I couldn't offend you. And I'm like, well, that's where you're wrong.
What?
Like, you dummy. Like, what's wrong with you? Talking about because I'm skinny, I can't get my feelings hurt. Just because you insecure about your weight doesn't mean that everybody else is secure. So stop projecting how you feel on other people, number one. Like, getting on my nerves. And basically, I'm done. I said my thing. I said what I had to say or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm pouting. I'm not pouting, but I'm just on some like I said what I had to say. I cried. I feel a little crazy because I feel like because I cried, it's not because they were looking at me like, oh, she's crying. Like they was like a little shook, and so I feel like it kind of undermined like what I was really trying to do. But listen, you can't please them all. So after that, I'm basically walking away because I'm like, I'm done. Mic drop. I'm done. I done cried. I'm over it. Like, come on now. So Ruby's trying to be fake nice again. She like, oh, I'm sorry, whatever. And she like, okay, we all gonna bury this moment like it's done. So as I'm walking away, here go Max. I guess I'll just take one for the team and wash the pot. And I'm just like, yeah, you do that, bitch. Like, the fuck. Anyway, so cool, whatever. That's bada bing, bada boom. That's the pot incident. We wrapped it up, shipped it out, boom, FedEx. So this is basically the last few months that I was living there. I'm about to tell you guys what it was like. So, you know, the next day after the pot incident or whatever, I woke up the next morning. I wanted to go and hit the bong, of course, because I was so drained from the night before. And so I go outside, and as I'm walking outside, I see Max, and she's on the couch watching TV. So I'm like, I say hi. I'm like, good morning, because she said good morning to me first. She's like, good morning, so I say good morning, and then I walk right past her, go outside, and I'm smoking. So I got my headphones in now, and I'm vibing. I'm a music artist, and I rap and I sing. So I'm basically just going over my verses back then, and I always have this bad habit of creating like full bodies of work. Like I'll do multiple songs, and then I just will like completely scratch it because I'm so hard on myself, and I just feel like I need to be the best of the best of the best of the best. But anyway, ouch, did y'all see that? So yeah, I come back inside, mind you, I got my headphones in, and I already know that Max is on the couch because I saw her when I came outside, and it probably took like 5-10 minutes. So I'm coming back inside, and I got my headphones in, so I'm listening to I'm just going over I'm going over the beat, going over the lyrics in my head. I'm just, I'm feeling it. So I come in the house, I beeline straight to my room because I already said good morning to Max. So I walk right back. Tell me why. I go to my room, and as my door closes, I hear like the end of the sentence, but I hear Ruby, and I guess so Ruby was in the kitchen, but I didn't see her. So as I'm going into my room, I can hear the tail end of her sentence, and I just hear her be like, "What the fuck?" Like she's just mad. So I hear Max be like, "Oh, calm down, like don't start." And for the rest of the morning, like Ruby stomping, and I put two and two together that she probably said good morning to me and I didn't hear her, so she's mad again. And I'm like, bruh, like she's stomping over the house, she's slamming doors, she's stomping extra hard, like she's getting ready for work, but she just like she just mad as fuck at me. And I'm like, oh my god, like at this point you are really deranged, because we already did, like, why are you mad I didn't say good morning to you? You know we ain't friends, bitch. Like, I don't give a fuck if we buried the hatchet, you're still weird. So, whatever, like, she was just being weird. So, the rest of my time there was really just conflict with Ruby. Like, Max didn't really say nothing to me anymore. She was just basically leaving me alone. And Ruby, she still had problems with her man. She still had problems with this, problems with that. So, she used to be mad annoyed because she was just annoyed. After that moment, like, she just kind of swore me off. Like, after I didn't say good morning, she hated me for the rest of her life. So I remember this one night, I'm grocery shopping at night. Don't ask me why. I probably like got off class late. So I'm at Publix late at night, like around 8 o'clock maybe. Not that late, but I'm in Publix around like 8 o'clock, and I'm just shopping, and I get a ding at my phone, and it's Ruby, and she's going off in the group chat. And basically, it's a long message, basically, in all caps as well. So, that bitch was mad. And one thing I also want to point out, like, for people who care about zodiacs, both Max and Ruby were Cancers, and I'm a Pisces, so you would think we would have got along, but we did not. And after I lived with them, I really had I hate Cancer streak for like mad years. Like, I did not fuck with Cancers, like, because I was just like, bruh, like, so something don't go your way and you want to have a fucking bitch fit, like, shut up. So I'm just like, bruh. So she basically, in all caps, and it starts off, she like, when I come home and I put something in the trash, if it's your time to take out the trash, take out the trash. Like, I'm imagining that this was because she was in all caps. So she's like, if it's your turn to take out the trash, just take out the trash. I don't understand why you gotta be so incompetent. Mind you, she sent it to the group chat, but we all know she's talking to me. And she like, because when I come home and I put something in the trash, I shouldn't have to. Mind you, she had her big clown face on that day, because she was going for the 2 days that I actually took my trash out. See, I was on schedule. It was actually Max's turn. So she's going off on me in the group chat, thinking that it's my fault. Bitch, you look dumb as fuck. So she basically going off, and I'm just irritated because I'm like, bruh, it seems like no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I can never win. I just can't win where I live. And it was so toxic and unhealthy to the point where, like, I would have to ask the dude I was dating at the time. I don't fuck with him no more, but I used to ask him, like, bruh, like, he's like, can I sleep over? I'm like, we going over your house. We ain't going over here. Uncomfortable ass living situation. So, whatever. So, the next day or whatever, a couple days go by, and I'm thinking to myself, like, it's really bothering me that she has so much hate for me. Like, it's really getting on my nerves, because from my standpoint, it's like, because I hear her arguing with her husband, like, with her fiance all the time. and she used to be kind of irritated that I would be home when she was trying to do virtual couples therapy, and it was vulnerable for her. So I think it made her mad that I was there, because I used to just be like walking around like, I know you hating on me, bitch, and I know you think I'm pretty, and I know you think I'm this and I'm that. Just, you used to try to be my friend, now you hating on me, and now you in the living room. That's why you need to be humble, because she had to do it in the living room, and she talking about her relationship problems and all this stuff. And when I would walk in the living room, she trying to be quiet and stuff. Girl, don't worry about me, worry about your family. So I'm just like, girl, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a really revenge oriented brain sometimes, so it's like, please don't do me dirty, because I was really imagining taking her bundles that she had bought for her wedding and just getting it installed. But I was like, that's a new level of low. And see, that's why I try to pray to God, because just like, I got that flip side, like, I will go off on you, like, don't try me. And if there's ever a situation where I walked away, it's because I did not want to curse your ass out and hurt your feelings. It's really heavy on my brain. Like, I'm talking to my friends, I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, Mom, like, how can I get through to this girl? Because I got four more months, and I just don't live in this situation. Like, it's really killing me. My mom is like, oh, maybe you should talk to her, and blah, 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 blah. You know, moms. So I'm like, maybe that's a good idea. So I text Ruby, and I'm like, hey, can we talk? And she like, I'm free. She basically was giving me a driver's license. I text her separately too, and she was like, oh, I'll be home today at 5. So I'm like, okay, bet. So I think I even went to the store and bought like a sweet tea for myself, and I bought her an extra one, so that when we sit down in the living room, like, she knows I'm giving her a peace offering. Like, here, bitch, have some juice, you know, have some tea, bitch. She come home or whatever. She got her, okay, I'm not saying this to be derogatory, but I'm just trying to paint the picture. She got her hair in a messy bun, but she got some of her hair all over the place. She don't got no makeup on. She looks tired. And basically, she was a server back then too. So anybody who was a server, y'all know that phase when you get off of work real late, you tired, blah, blah. That's what she was giving me. Like, she was giving me like, what you want, because I'm already tired as hell. Like, she came in the door like with an attitude. She came in the door like she was just over it. So she come home and she sit down and she just looking at me with a bitch face. And I was very like sweet. Like, I was very like, hey, so I just wanted to talk to you because after reading the group message, and you know, it wasn't even like my turn, I just want to let you know that when you talk to people, there's another way to go about it. Like, when you have issues with people, you don't have to blow up all the time. It's cool if you have an issue with something. Your feelings are valid, but there's another way to go about it. When you want to talk to somebody about something that they did that you don't like, you don't have to berate them. Like, that's... And you know what she said? She looked at me, she was like, I don't care. And I was just like, okay. Like, at that point, I really wanted to deck her in the face, but I didn't. So I already knew that Ruby was the type to call the cops on you. Because, like I said, Max and Ruby, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but they weren't from, like, I'm from Philadelphia. So Philadelphia is a big city, kind of like New York or something like that. This is like a very small version of New York, because New York is huge. Y'all know that. But so me being from where I'm from, I'm used to Atlanta. Like, I can maneuver. I can kind of like, I'm street smart. But they was more so like not. And I feel like they was from like somewhere random, like Wisconsin or something, like. Because I remember they both told me where they was from at first, and they just went one ear after the other. Like, and no shade to you if you live in Wisconsin, but it was like they was from like Connecticut or something crazy. Like, and I was just like, okay. So I could tell they was very sheltered and all that stuff. So I was basically trying to just be that person for her. Like, hey, like, you don't gotta like. So anyway, after she basically disrespected my efforts to bury the hatchet one last time, I wiped my hands with it, and I'm not gonna lie, I did think about getting back at her, but I didn't, because I be praying to God and he be telling me to relax. So it's just so crazy, because I want to say I had like 2 months to go, and they tried to get me out of the lease before them. So I think, like, let's say that their lease was up in April, they tried to get me out of there by March so they could have an extra month without me, because they just did not like me and I didn't like them either. But I was like, no, I need till April too, because I really did. I had to get my money up, and I moved into the place I live now, and I'm ready to move again. So it's just crazy how life works. Like, that was years ago, me living with girls who were in a cult, and you know, it's just so crazy. Like, And their cult was basically just like a Christian organization at first, and it turned into something that it really should not. Like, I feel like certain people should not have power. If you're into a person to be in front of an organization and try to make the people like isolate from their friends and family and just do a whole bunch of weird stuff with the people's minds and try to control them, like, you should just not be in power. And because that will mess up people's, like, they used to tell me like they were trying to get out of whatever they were taught, and it was to the point where they was living all together. Like, they mentioned how they got an apartment to get out of that situation because they were living there. So it was a beautiful apartment. It wasn't in the best neighborhood, but it was a beautiful apartment, and it could have been a beautiful living experience for me. I definitely think that it stunted my growth. I'm being honest with y'all. I do think it stunted my growth because when I moved here, I was like, anytime somebody would come home, I would like flinch a little bit because I always, for like a whole year, I was on edge. And that's a terrible feeling. I don't wish that on anybody. And if you're currently in a situation where you have to go through that, I just, I pray for you. I give you all my blessings and my love, because you have to be a strong-minded person to make it out with a good attitude. And you know what I'm saying? So anyway, that was my story time about how I live with these girls who were in a cult. I really wanted to do another story time. I got a few more coming up. I got like a Miami story time. I got a bunch of story times, honestly. But that was that. I hope y'all enjoyed the story. And I'm gonna go eat some food because my stomach is growling. Yeah, I'm gonna go make something to eat because I'm mad hungry. I low-key want to order food, but it's like, bitch, save some money. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to, but I know you do. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on my next video, hopefully. Girl, if y'all subscribe to me, I'll upload more often. Y'all gotta give me a reason. I'm just playing, but y'all, bye.
You